Yo, 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 this is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 269. And we're feeling fine on a fine Thursday night, feeling all right. I am one of your hosts, SloMoBackSlap, here with the fantastic, the fabulous, the best GameStop manager on the planet. Okay, you want to find a better GameStop manager? You gotta go to Mars. All right, Gaming Forte in the house. What's up, Forte?
What's up? They can't go to Europa or Venus or Mercury.
Nope. No,
any
actually,
of those places.
You guys haven't expanded out there yet. It's only Earth and Mars, and
that's closer though.
Look, man, just roll with it. Just roll with it.
It's like Mercury and Venus are closer.
Mars is more popular.
They definitely made a movie called The Martian. You are absolutely right. We didn't. We just said skip going to the moon, huh? Even though we just recently, as a country, went to the moon or around the moon, I should say. Yeah, man, great being here. Been a long couple of days. Basement flooded, guys. But we're all set. We're all good. You know, it's been raining like, I swear, I feel like the biggest lake in Michigan, which is I think Lake Superior, which is up by the UP, decided to empty all of its water over southeastern Michigan. Because we got so much rain over the course of the last couple of days. But everything's good here. I'm glad to be here for the show because I was talking to SloMo. I was like, man, we might have to do this another day depending on if they could get my stuff working again. But everything worked out because you see I'm here and it's great to be here with you guys. A lot of stuff to talk about. I will tell you this, though, SloMo, and it's funny that you started with, planetary moves and stuff like that, and I brought up the space stuff with us going to the moon. I am so proud of my daughter.
As you should be.
I'm always proud of her, but I'm even more proud of her because she is super, she's just like me, a nerd when it comes to science. Like, science has always been my favorite subject. And the funny thing is, math is my least favorite subject, but the two go hand in hand. You can't have science without math. So I had to force myself to be good at math in order to know the things that I'm talking about. And we went down so many rabbit holes this week about planets and stuff. And she started spilling dwarf stars and we were talking, she said, oh, the Earth. She said, what happens if the Earth became, it would become a red giant, and then it wouldn't explode. It would become a red giant. Then it would expand and take out Venus and everything and all this other crazy stuff. I was like, wait, I'm just listening to her talk, and she's like, yeah, we will never see it explode because it would engulf the planet Earth before it even got to Venus or Uranus and stuff. It would be that big. And I was like, just listening to her talk. And she said, then it would turn into then when it finally did, it would turn into a dwarf star. And I was like, Peyton, I love you. You are talking like a geek right now. And we started, we literally, while I was sitting here, cleaning the floor yesterday, using towels and stuff to dry the vinyl, we were listening to science, things about the universe, plan, if the world was to be attacked by a intergalactic species, and if they were to fire rockets from us, and we talked about what light years are, and how light years are actually calculated by how long it would take the light from one place to hit us. And I said, so Peyton, how long would it take the light from Alpha Centauri to hit Earth for you to see it? If you look at it through a microscope, what are you seeing? She's like, well, Dad, funny you asked that. That means when you see the light from Alpha Centauri, you are seeing it 5 years in the future, or the past, I should say. It's crazy. I'm sorry, SloMo. I just nerded out for a second, but go ahead. Whatever you about to say.
And I say this as a compliment. You and your daughter are the nerdiest nerds that have ever nerd.
We are. It's crazy, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't
Listen.
know anybody that just casually has this kind of conversation.
We,
Some of that stuff I knew, like the light you see from stars is old. It's like millions of years old, or whatever, however long it took for that light to shine here. I knew that part. All
It's
that
like
other stuff,
you're looking at the past. Like if a star explodes 10 million, like 100 light years away, if you see the explosion, you're seeing something that happened 500 million years ago. But if you think about it, that happened so long ago that it's not even there anymore. That planet is gone. But what you see is something that happened years ago. It's crazy when you think about it.
So if Game Pass died tonight, when will we find out about it?
Depends on what planet you on.
I'm gonna use that as it's not even a segue because we not talking about that yet. Anyway,
so I'm gonna answer your question though. If Game Pass died, let's say Game Pass made it, because supposedly this decade we are planning a manned mission to Mars. Like they're actually going to plan a manned mission. So in the next 3 years, they're actually on the docket for it. It's supposed to happen, I think, in 2029. But if Game Pass makes it to 2029 and it dies in 2029, if you are an astronaut that has a Game Pass subscription and an Xbox Live, an Xbox system at that time, and it dies, the time you will actually see it happen would be, I think it's 18 minutes later. So like it would happen here in 18 minutes, and then it would take 18. It would take 18 minutes for you to look at the Earth and be like, dang. Game Pass died 18 minutes ago on the Earth. But what I see is like right now, which is crazy. But no, Game Pass, we'll talk about that and everything. But I got a lot to say about the moves that Microsoft been making lately, or lack thereof. But no, but great to be here.
We want to hear it, man. What you been playing though?
Well,
I mean, I know it's been a little difficult with.
Yeah, well, literally nothing over the last 3 days, nothing at all. Let me tell you, I overslept last night. Everybody in my house overslept last night. I woke up and I was like, dang, it's you know, when you wake up, and usually when you wake up, it's still a little dark outside, because I take my daughter to the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning. And I woke up. Yeah, because she starts school at 7. Like 7:01 is their bell. And she catches the bus at 6:30. So I take her to the corner to take her to the bus stop. So I woke up and I see bright lights outside. And I was like, daylight savings time ain't happened yet. So why is it bright outside? And then I look and I was like, I know that my daughter must still be asleep, because she would have came in there and got me by now. I look at the clock and it says 7:02. I get up and go in the room. Her light is on, but she's laying under her blanket with all her PJs and stuff on. And I said, hey, she's like, look at, she does the little, I don't know where I'm at look on her face. And she's like, oh my God, I'm late. And then Mom was like, yeah, we all overslept last night, because it was rough, because we was like just doing nothing but working on the basement and stuff. So, but yeah, it was crazy. I woke up and I was like, it's really bright outside for me to be waking up for the first time today. I was like, okay. But yeah, I didn't play anything the last couple of days. Before that, I was playing Battlefield. I talked to you about that. Jumped into some Battlefield, started playing that on the new maps and everything, which was really, really cool. I picked up you gonna listen. Tamagotchi Life is actually pretty fun. It came out today.
Oh, here we go. Oh my, I don't care.
I know you don't.
You're enjoying it.
Well, I didn't play a lot of it, but it was just a game that was like there. And I was like, I was at work and I was like, I'm about to see what this game's all about. I popped it in, and next thing I know, I played for like 20 minutes and I said, yeah, I'm going to buy this. This is actually pretty cool. It takes your mind off a lot. The one thing I realized about the Switch, it has a bunch of games that literally detach you from reality. And you could be wherever, and I think that's its superpower, because you could just pick your Switch up and play it anywhere. Now, this is the same thing for any handheld, like, or even like, personal mobile PCs or anything like that. But with this being a traditional console, that's its superpower, that I could just pick up something and play it no matter where I am. And it detaches you from reality, compared to, not saying that home consoles can't do that, because I've absolutely experienced that in games playing at home on my PC or even on my console. We Mass Effect, it's like I'm there, but you also have to prepare yourself for that when you sit. Like, it's like an initiative to go downstairs, sit down, turn on your console, get you something to drink. You about to, like, when you sit down at your PC to play a game, or you sit down at your couch to play a game or whatever, it's like an attention behind that, versus if you're just sitting there doing nothing. Wherever you are, I could be sitting in my car doing nothing. I could be sitting at waiting for my daughter to get out of track practice. It's just, you could just pick it up when you weren't even thinking about it because you're just bored. And then next thing you know, you're just off and running, doing something that you didn't think you would actually be enjoying. And I think that's the one thing that kind of lends itself really good to mobile gaming and stuff. And I think that's why it's so predominant in Japan and in regions like that, because you don't really have time in like society like that to like stand still. They're always moving and they're always doing something. I think when they're at home, they're basically eating and sleeping. So it kind of just lends to the lifestyle. So that was really, really cool. Pragmata comes out tomorrow. I'm picking that up.
Me too.
I'm picking up Pragmata. Are you picking it up on PC or are you picking it up on PS5?
Why would I?
Because you buy everything. Because you buy, because guess what? So are you telling me right now that at some point you are not going to have Pragmata on PS5?
No.
Oh, you're not? Okay, good. Okay, good for you.
Unless the game is like really that good.
It doesn't matter. Why buy it on PS5 if you got it on PC? You ain't gonna get a better experience.
I bought Dispatch on PS5 when I had
Why?
it on PC.
Why did you buy? But why?
Because I wanted to support the developer, help them make some more sales, and I also played it over there too.
Support the developer by gifting it to somebody on Steam.
You can't gift games on Steam.
You can't?
I'm sorry, that's Steam. PlayStation, you can't.
Yeah, but on Steam you can gift it to somebody.
I know everyone that I knew that had played the game or was interested in playing the game had already bought it and played it. So
okay, I got you. At least you thought about it. But what about you, man? What you got going on?
Man, look, I've been playing Call of Duty. I am on my my journey as now Prestige Master to hit my 2.0 KD. We are slowly inching our way there. No, I've been playing that. I've been playing Crimson Desert. I have up to 100 and close to 160 hours in Crimson Desert now. Still on chapter 8 or 9. I think chapter 9 is what I'm on. Today I found a nice farm for experience, and so I'm trying at this point to max out. It's like the way the skill tree or the leveling works. It's not like really leveling, like you don't get a level, but you do get like there are levels to your stats for your stamina, your health, and also your spirit. Your spirit's kind of like your how you have the ability to do certain things, like magic. By the way, I finally unlocked the magic I wanted to unlock, which is the fire one. But like your special abilities and stuff like that, they use spirit. Your ability to fly or glide more to be more accurate, you use spirit for that. You know, and stamina, by the way. But these are the kind of things that like you get like these little items that allow you to dedicate points to those areas, in addition to the actual skills that you have, like unarmed combat, armed combat with like, you know, swords, weapons, whatnot, bows and arrows, that kind of thing, ranged combat, all that good stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot of that. They have this thing where, for example, your stamina will max at 14,
Mm-hmm.
but they using the usual method of abyss artifacts to level up your stamina. When you hit like level 10, that's not enough anymore. You gotta get a different item. So once I get all of my health, my stamina, and my spirit at the soft cap max, then I will be doing all this other stuff that you gotta do. You gotta find like the scientists, and then you gotta help them with their research, and then they will craft. Eventually, you'll get them to help you craft the items that you need to get beyond the soft cap. But I mean, I'm really just trying to be as powerful as possible to just absolutely lay waste to literally any and everyone I come across. And I'm getting there. You know, I'm getting a little bit stronger. But that's all I've been doing. I've been playing those two games. I did buy Morbid Metal. I mentioned that last week. I haven't played it yet. That's on me. I'm just.
It's okay.
I am going to play Pragmata tomorrow, so that'll be like the first game in a while that wasn't Call of Duty or Crimson Desert that I'll be playing. And that Mouse PI for Hire game looks pretty interesting. I kind of, you know, it seems from what people have been saying is that it's got that Cuphead kind of art style, that old school 1950s cartoon art style, but the game plays like Doom,
Mm-hmm.
like Doom, the like original old school back in the day Doom, you know, kind of shooter. So I think I'll check it out. You know, it seems pretty interesting. What was that? There was something else that I wanted to bring up. Oh, Replaced. Yeah, Replaced came out this week, and I have it installed through Game Pass. I haven't played it yet. I'm not all that enthused to play it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing against the game. Like I just gotta recognize when I just don't really care about a game that much. Cause like the demo, when they came out with a demo for Replaced a couple months ago, I installed that. Never got around to playing it. Now the game comes out, it's in Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay for it. But if it wasn't in Game Pass and I had to pay for it, more than likely it's not installed on my PC in that scenario. So
Okay.
I was like, I kind of want to play it, but I kind of really don't care. But no, I've been you know, I've been grinding, you know, grinding in Crimson Desert, you know, different kind of grind, but also grinding in Call
That's
of Duty.
definitely a different kind of grind.
Right. But no, look, hey, you ready to do this, man?
Yeah, let's
ready
go.
to get into these rapid fire topics?
Ready to get into these hellfire topics.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, according to Insider Gaming, who says these documents were sent to them, Fairgames is going to be an extraction shooter with a dedicated, unique game mode. That game mode is called Cargo Heist, and if you've played Payday before, you may feel like you've seen this before. It seems very similar. Like the description of what the mode does or what you're doing in the mode is very much you have an objective, you go to the objective, you go take what you need from it, and then you try to get out with it. And like, yeah, that sounds very much like also what extraction shooters do. But when you look at like what the original game that they showed was, which I mean actually wasn't actual gameplay, it was just a CGI trailer. Like very much like Payday, but with PvP in it, because it's got other people. A lot of us kind of felt Fairgames is going to get canceled just because, you know, Jay Raymond leaves the studio, the director of the game left the studio. Like, what are we doing here? What's left? What is there to do? But it does appear, based upon what Insider Gaming's information here, that this is going to come out. So Forte, my question for you is: does Fair Games have a chance on the market? What do you think?
Ooh, it's so. Do they have a chance? This is the thing. Every game has a chance. How big of a chance is the question? Because when you're talking about new IPs, to captivate, because this same question could have been said about Helldivers. Helldiver, I take that back. Helldivers actually had a game that came out first, so it wasn't a new IP.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually did have some people did have like kind of a thought of what the game could be. Now, did people think it was going to end up being what it actually is today? No,
Absolutely not. No.
they did. No one thought it was going to be what it ended up being. So I still think that game was a niche game for in the eyes of a lot of people that turned out being something that permeated throughout more than just the initial people that would like kind of enjoy that game. So looking at that, they do have a chance, but I feel like it's such a uphill battle to like kind of break into these different type of genres and stuff. And then I also think that we're in a part of the gaming culture where the live service bubble may not have popped completely, but it's all the games that normally dominate that sphere are seeing huge drop-offs. They're seeing layoffs. They seeing people not participating and playing as much as they did based on just the numbers alone. So that kind of lends itself to kind of a withdrawal from just not only that type of gameplay, but just fatigue in general. Like I just think a lot of people are fatigued. So can this game do something in the market that hasn't been done? I think about, like you said, Payday. And Payday, to me, is a really, really great game. But what did Payday 3 do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And it's because Payday 2 was interesting and unique and different. But Payday 3 comes out like a decade and a half later, and it's basically Payday 2 with a facelift. And if people wanted that, they would still just play Payday 2. I think Fair Games' success hinges on this cargo heist mode, because I've always said this about live service games, is that they have to be unique in order to really have some really staying power, some lasting power. If you spend your entire development looking at other successful live service games and you're trying to emulate what they're doing, you're doing it wrong. Sure, you can look at what they're doing and say, hey, like that marketing's fire. Maybe we should, do something similar to that. Or the company that they were working with, that did the marketing, maybe we need to, work with them as well. All that's good and fine. But like if you entice people to come play your game and they come in and the trailer gave them one impression, but it really turned out to be something else, or you're essentially like, when people are talking about your game, they're like, oh, it's the cyberpunk kind of version of Mass Effect or something like that. When they start describing your game with other games, you pretty much have already lost, because everyone who goes into live service games, they go into it hoping that the game that they're making is going to be the next phenomenon. You can't be the next phenomenon if you are basically just copying what has been done before. And gamers are the kind of people that, if I got my live service game, I got my game that I play, it's really difficult to get them off that to go play something else. It's difficult because they're used to the gameplay loop of the game. It's also difficult because typically they have invested a lot of money into those ecosystems. There are people with Fortnite accounts where they've spent tens upon tens of thousands of dollars on content within Fortnite, and to get them to stop playing that game, for them it's like I basically wasted my money. So it's difficult to get people to transition over. But if you have something that's super unique, that's super different, that no one else has done before, you may have that kind of opportunity, because then you can cultivate a whole new community of gamers that are into that thing. I do think that, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the whole cargo heist thing seems interesting, because I remember playing Payday 2 and I used to play it with friends, and we had a ball. We had a great time. But couldn't get none of them to play Payday 3.
He said, that's a wrap, bro.
Yeah, none of them wanted to play that. And when I look at how cargo heist is described, I do kind of wonder like how dynamic things would be when you're competing against other teams to do the same exact kind of thing. And that's like an evolution of what the first Payday was, from what I've seen. And yeah, you can look at it like it's a extraction shooter. You're going in, you're getting something, you're extracting it. It's a extraction shooter. True, but when you just call it that and you don't qualify what it does differently, then people just think, oh, if that's all it is, I don't like extraction shooters, I'm not going to play this. So I think they got an uphill battle. Also due to Sony's reputation with live service games, it's not great. So I think a lot of hardcore gamers are already kind of on a wait and see with the game without even seeing a single second of actual gameplay. Like, we have no idea what this looks like. It could be the most amazing game out there, and we would have no idea because we haven't seen anything yet.
We haven't seen anything yet, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Anything else you want to say on this? We can move on.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, really?
Leaks from Capcom show a Resident Evil 0 coming. A Resident Evil 0 remake is coming. And it might include online co-op. So this will be players being allowed to team up as Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen, I think his name
Billy
was.
Cohen, yeah.
For the entire campaign.
Be the second time only the second time I think you could do that.
Yeah, I think Resident Evil 5 you could do
was
that.
The only other
Chris
one.
And Shiva.
And Shiva.
Now, this would be a little bit different, you know, your typical Resident Evil game. Like, for example, Requiem came out, and then you got Leon Kennedy, who you play as, and you also got this new character, Grace, that you play as. You go back
Gary
and
Grace.
forth. This would be, hey, me and Forte about to play it. I choose Rebecca, Forte chooses Billy, and from what people are describing it as, you're doing two different tasks, two different things at the same time. So I'm kind of intrigued by how this will play out. But also, and I'll just say this real quick. I think it's a good idea as long as it's not mandatory that you have someone else to play with. You know, kind of like Studios games where, you know, Split Fiction, you got to have someone else to play the game with. Just as long as they still provide your traditional Resident Evil single player experience where you would switch back and forth between Billy and Rebecca, then yeah, go ahead and do that. Which I do think they would do. I think Capcom has been doing this. This isn't their first rodeo. So although they haven't really had great success with doing multiplayer for this IP, I do think they understand that your traditional Resident Evil fans are going to want to be able to make sure that they could just play it like any typical Resident Evil game. What are your thoughts on that, man?
No, I agree. I do think that in general, and with Resident Evil, it comes down to the survival horror genre. Playing by yourself is amazing if you can tolerate it. But I also think a lot more people would be willing to jump into games like that usually traditionally don't like to play scary games like slow-mo. But he
Hey,
would
look,
probably
it's not about
he probably
it being
would.
scary.
Yo, you don't
It's
like you
about
don't you don't like you don't.
I don't
Let's just
like
be
I
for
don't
real here.
like you
You know,
giving me a gun with one bullet in it.
what's
I
the
don't.
difference? It's
What's the
like
difference?
Well, that has nothing to do. So, okay. So, what is the problem with you having a gun? Because, okay. So, let me ask you this: you didn't. So, you don't like Outlast. You did. You didn't want to play Alien
You don't get
Isolation.
you don't get any weapon in Outlast. You get
I
a
know you
camera.
don't. You get a camera and a flashlight.
Ridiculous.
But
I'm not
what's
playing
wrong
that.
with that? What's wrong with that?
What's wrong
What's
with that?
What's wrong with?
How am I supposed to defend myself? I'm just
It's
supposed to be just
it's a
running all
different.
game.
It's a different way of playing the game.
And then look, I've looked at enough, gameplay of Resident Evil Requiem. Grace runs like she runs like you're in a dream. You know how like you have a dream, a nightmare, and
Yeah.
you're running, but you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's like she's running from Pennywise and he's always behind her.
Yeah, that's how Grace runs.
Yeah.
Like it just my legs don't work.
My legs don't work.
I've been in a coma for 10 years and I haven't
I
used my
mean,
leg muscles the entire time and now I can't walk. Like that's Grace. Like for
that is
99% of the game. And I
that is
just like
grace.
look, I get why people love it, but for me it's so much stuff that just made me go, come on, man.
You be
So
man, you don't even want to give it a try though. That's the but going back to the thing I was saying, I do think with the co-op mode, it would kind of incentivize people that normally don't want to play games like Resident Evil
yeah, you get to
because
play it with friends,
and you
that
kind of get
changes things.
you get kind of distracted by the stuff that happens, and you kind of don't even think about the fact that, man, I only got 3 rounds in this handgun.
Look, I do get the whole people look at it like, oh well, you gotta save frequently and you gotta do inventory management correctly, and
do.
you gotta whatever items that you do find, you have to really make sure you're being efficient in how you use things. No, that's great.
SloMo just
good.
wants to say,
It's
just give me a clip, give me a drum, and let me use it.
Thank you.
I already know what
Sounds
you
like these zombies need a lot of bullets to go down, and I am happy to oblige. But yeah, like
I get it.
looking at people sneaking up on zombies with a butter knife, I'm good. Nah, man, I'm not for that. But would I play this with a friend that wanted to play it? Probably.
Yeah, you would. I think you
Yeah,
would.
probably play it.
I think you would.
But do you agree with me that I think that like they need to make sure they have the traditional Resident Evil experience available as well?
Oh, well, I agree. Yeah, because I think they already have the blueprint with Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5, I liked Resident Evil 5 a lot, and you could play it, now Shiva or Chris was stupid as heck if they didn't have another person with them, like to actually control them. But you could play that game without another person. It just was a lot more enjoyable if you did. So the question is, if this does come out, would it be a better experience if they just had two different craft? Like, because I don't feel like the main experience of the game has to be co-op. I feel like, the one thing I like the most, like what Call of Duty did this.
I don't think the main experience will be the co-op. I just think it's more of it's an option. And but I do think they're gonna market that option a lot to try to get people to say, hey, look, yo, this one's different. But plus, I mean, look, I dabbled a little bit in Zero. They're much better Resident Evil games, in my opinion.
I agree, 100%.
Like, they're at the bottom of the barrel right now. But we'll
definitely were.
happens.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I remember games like I think it was Modern Warfare 2 was the first one to do it, where they did the Spec Ops mode, and it was so fun going through Spec Ops mode and co-op. where you had two people, one person. I remember one of the maps you would go, you had to like sneak around, and then you had another person in the AC-130 up top dropping bombs on people as you were on the ground. It's like seeing the like being in the air and seeing the visual of bodies just flying everywhere as your character, as your teammate is running with the little light flickering on them, so you know danger close and stuff. And then being the person on the ground watching those hellfire bullets just hit the ground and bombs just going off everywhere. It was so cool. And but that wasn't the main experience. Of course, single player, they had a single player that was really good in Modern Warfare 2, and they had multiplayer. So I always feel like if they want to do it right, have an experience like if they want to have a co-op experience that you could do the whole campaign, that's fine. But I feel like there should also be a way of playing the game that has no co-op at all, and you don't feel like you're dragging an NPC around just because you don't have somebody to play as them. I think there should be a couple of different ways to play the game, and if it takes a little bit,
that's how
if it takes a little bit longer to develop that.
You originally play the original game by you switch back and forth.
Yeah, you switch back and forth, right?
So that should be the main experience. That should be the traditional default experience. But then if you want to play with a friend, then you would have like the whole co-op mode, the kind of thing.
Right.
Like and then but you would have to in the very beginning choose that.
Right.
Like at the beginning of the game. So like you couldn't be like in the middle of the game. You're about good 8 hours in, and then now you're trying to get one of your friends to go play Billy. Nah, it needs to be like kind of like from the very start. And so,
right,
yeah.
No,
But you know, look, I'm interested in seeing how it works out. RE Engine's a fantastic game engine. It looks great. A lot of the Resident Evil games have looked really, really good so far. So, hope it works out. Anything else you want to say on this?
No, that's it, man.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I watched that movie the other day, by the way. Harlem Nights.
So we got some interesting information. This came really late last week, but it kind of missed the cutoff for the show. A Valve developer. Well, actually, this is a little bit. Well, yeah, it's the same. It was late last week, but there's a little bit more information have come out about it. So, a Valve developer who works specifically on Linux has introduced a set of kernel patches and user space tools aimed at improving VRAM management on low memory GPUs. Now, why is that important? Well, these patches target systems with 8 gigabytes of VRAM or less, and guess what has just 8 gigabytes of VRAM? The Steam machine.
The Steam machine.
So this might be able to, because like the bottleneck for this device, when everyone looked at the specs, a lot of people were pointing, as well as myself, was pointing directly at that 8 gigabyte VRAM GPU and saying that's just not good enough. Especially when you're going to have a device that's you sit it at your entertainment system or somewhere in your living room or whatever, connected to likely a big TV, not a monitor that's typically in the range of 27 to 32 inches, but a TV that's always, for the most part, not always, but a lot of them north of 55 inches. So the bigger the screen, the more of those imperfections look really, really bad. And you got to deal with the fact that you're trying to run games at higher settings when you only got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. We've seen where so many games have had limitations where the game doesn't run as well, doesn't perform as well. In particular with Linux. We got Flood in the chat. So he loves Linux. He plays in that Linux environment all the time. But Flood can correct me if I'm wrong. But when a Linux system is using VRAM and runs out of VRAM while playing a game, it dips into your I feel like it dips into your RAM, I
Mm,
think. But someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But essentially, it's not very. Um, the current issues with that is that it's not very efficient, and this
mhm.
new method will definitely be fixing that. Some to the degree, I don't quite believe these numbers, but like one of the games media sources is talking about like a less than 1 gig VRAM usage being used. And I'm just like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
So I'm gonna need to seize that before I believes that. But what are your thoughts on this these advancements with Linux and how that affects Steam OS, Valve, and the Steam machine itself?
Yeah, well, since those are going to be running on that, I think it's going to impact it enough, but is it going to make a huge enough difference for the people that are going to care the most? Probably not, because I think so. The Steam machine, color me if I'm wrong. Do you think more people that have high-end PCs are going to, or mid-tier PCs are going to buy Steam machines than people that have
No,
consoles?
no. It's a niche device that
Mm-hmm.
fits a niche community. I mean, we know
Yep.
like Steam has over 100 million players.
Mm-hmm.
Not all concurrently. I think concurrently the most they've had concurrently has been like 65, something like that. But like that's
Yeah.
not the point. Um, the Steam Deck, which is a really good device, has still sold less than 5 million units total. So this thing isn't going to outsell the Steam Deck. This is just a different method to provide content or provide hardware to
The people that,
developers. I'm sorry,
yes.
not developers, but to the gamer. And so
But the gamer that's going to buy this is the gamer that already has something that's really, really good, though.
right. Oh, I
So
mean, you
but
for
that's
the
why,
most part. I
but
mean,
that's why I'm
you're
saying
going
that
to get
people,
some players that are console
yeah,
players
you'll get
that
some.
like, yeah, these are like really hard console players that look at Steam, look at PC, and say, "Ah, man, I'm missing out on Morbid Metal because that's a game that just came out this week and it's only on PC right now. I
Yep.
missed out on XYZ, or I missed out in Crimson Desert. It's got like the better ray tracing." That kind, even though you definitely wouldn't be using that on a Steam machine anyway. But like, there are a lot of games that go to PC that console gamers don't get the opportunity to play. Or hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
here's a good one. Hades 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hades 1 and Hades 2 were in early access on PC before they got their full release and came out on other platforms. You get a Steam machine and you can play that where everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cheaper option to kind of dip your toe into PC and kind of see how it works out. See if you want to go build or have built a big, pre-built PC tower or something like that. Um, there is that segment of the market there, but I do see your point that like it's not a lot of people that are interested in the grand scheme of things.
They say they interested, but because it's just like the
Well, I
Steam
would say
Deck.
this though.
It's just like the Steam Deck, though. Like I was
The
saying, the
Steam Deck
Steam Deck,
sells out all the time though.
yeah, but they also don't make a lot of them either.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They make. I feel like they make them to order almost when you do it off the website. But
Yeah. I
the
mean, it's the
biggest
only
thing
way to buy them unless you're buying
is,
used is to buy
yeah,
it
it's through Steam
Steam.
itself.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, it just comes back to, and I feel like is it really going to make a dent or even matter, is because the people that are going to buy, like, just for the most part, you have the very fringe people that are console gamers that bought a Steam Deck. But most of the people that own a Steam Deck have a really good PC and they just want to play really good games on the go. They want
Okay,
they,
yeah.
they want a less of a compromised experience. It's not
Yeah,
like
but-
we're really pulling
But this would
console people over.
and you think about it, this will affect the Steam Deck as well.
Yeah.
Because this kind of like that Steam OS runs off of Linux, so
Right.
anything that's running off of Linux can benefit from these patches that Valve is pushing out there. If I were to buy a Steam machine, and maybe I will, I don't know, maybe I'll get bored and buy one. But if I was to buy one,
Maybe I'll get bored and buy one.
I know exactly where I would put it. And I think I've said this before, but like every TV in my house has got some kind of gaming device connected to it. All of them. I have a NVIDIA Shield with a GameSir Cyclone 2 and its cradle connected to it on one of my TVs. I can see myself replacing that NVIDIA Shield with the Steam machine.
Okay.
Because it's essentially doing the same thing, except I can play those games locally. Where with the NVIDIA Shield, I'm not. I'm usually, if I'm using that thing, which is rare, but if I'm using it, I'm doing GeForce Now on it, or I am using the partner programs of Sunshine and Moonlight to stream to the NVIDIA Shield from my gaming PC. But like these are very like limited options, despite it being pretty okay of experience to use. But it's just typically if I feel like gaming and I'm in front of that TV, I would much rather get up and then go to my PC and play versus pulling out that Cyclone 2 and playing while I'm on the couch. I can see people who have powerful gaming PCs looking at this device and going, "Oh, I can play this in the living room." And I think Valve understands that because look at the device, look at the kind of micro. I think this micro ATX, I think, or mini ITX, whichever kind of case. But look at the case, the design of the case. It's designed to look like something you would have on your entertainment center, or just like in the background in your house. So I say all that to say that none of this would be going on with them improving VRAM usage on the Linux if they did have a device coming out that was going to take advantage of that or need that. And so I think overall this is good because more than likely, and we're starting to see more and more of people like Valve, people like NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got their own compression technology that we were discussing last week. More and more of these companies are coming out with ways to make things more efficient, to not be so wasteful, to optimize things better. I'm just kind of hoping that developers take advantage of those things and doesn't use it as a means to cut corners, So, yeah. Forte, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nope.
All right, let's move on. We got
Moving on.
unless you got something else to say.
No, I'm good.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So here's some bad news. I hope you. This is very similar, actually, to Sony and the PlayStation. Meta is now increasing the price of the Meta Quest 3 and the Meta Quest 3S. And those prices, I think there's two separate SKUs.
They are.
Oh man, what is that? I tell you, some of this gameplay, I just be getting frustrated. My bad.
Man, you be out here trying, just like, what do I need to do? That's funny.
No. I just had a issue with for some reason NVIDIA changed the so I'm playing Crimson Desert at 1440p with like with ray tracing on and ray reconstruction on, and I'm getting like anywhere between 95 to and 120 frames per second. And so I labeled it a 1440p video for the I didn't have footage for this next topic, so for meta, because like why would I have footage for meta? You know, but I just figured I'll play this gameplay while we discuss it. And instead it's 4K. Like, why NVIDIA is your software recording this in 4K if it's played in 1440p? Make it make sense. I'm sorry. Anyway, tangent over. The MetaQuest 3S has two different SKUs. I think the two different SKUs are based off of how much storage you have, I think. And so one of them, but they're both going up $50, so it doesn't really matter about that. Whatever their price is, they're going up $50. And the Quest 3 is going up $100 from its regular price. I do remember that one. It was at $400. Wait, it may have been $499 and going up to $599. I can't remember. Sorry, but it's going up in price. Much like a lot of technology nowadays. Forte.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a VR headset?
Yes, I have the oh my god. I have the MetaQuest Pro. I have the Pro.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow, that's the one that was like $1,000, right?
$1,500, sir. I got it for
Oh,
free, but I ain't paid for it.
Oh wow. Shoot.
It was like one of the.
Something up.
It was like It was a great. Trust me, nobody was expecting it. Meta got on the stage and they were talking about the MetaQuest 3 and the MetaQuest 3S, and then they walked out. It was like they did the one more thing while we were still doing conferences, and they said, you know what? How can we expect you guys to talk about MetaQuest if you don't have a MetaQuest? It was like, what? Everybody started perking up. It was so funny. Everybody in the room was like, oh, and then we thought he was going to give a MetaQuest 3S, but then they turned around and said, you know what? We ain't going to just give you a MetaQuest 3. We're going to give you a MetaQuest Pro. And I was like, that's $1,500, bro. But yeah, that's what I have. And I didn't even open it for like the first year that I had it. Until
Sounds like me when I bought the MetaQuest. Like I think I got the original one.
MetaQuest
2.
Yeah. I didn't even
Yeah,
open
no,
it.
it was the 2. It was the 2. Yeah,
I literally
got
had
it.
that thing in a box, and then and my brother came over the house one day. He's like, "Bro, you ain't even opened that yet." I was like, "No," because he had the index. He had the Steam index, and he was like, "Bro, you should open that and try it." So he kind of forced me to open it, and it was actually pretty cool. I played Half-Life Alex on it.
Mm. Yeah, I know MetaQuest is like the most successful VR headset as far as sales goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's mostly been because they've been affordable, way more affordable than other headsets. Like people are more willing to try a MetaQuest at $350, $400 than a PSVR 2 at $600, a Steam Index at $1,000, the HTC what was it? The HTC Vive? Was that what it's called? A dumb name. It's all right. HTC's headset was like $800 when it came out. What else? I mean, and look, I think when it comes to VR, the cheaper the better, because people don't kind of view it as like a traditional. It was not traditional gaming experience, but they also look at it as lesser. Like the games are more like tech demos than the actual full games, which I used to agree with. Now I don't. I think they got like their own games really for it now. But when something is a secondary gaming experience, like how some people feel about handhelds, you're less likely to spend the kind of money you would spend on your primary game experience on that. And so I think Meta has enjoyed the fact that they've been cheaper than their competition. And so that's why they're the most popular VR headset. but you're really starting to kind of take a chance here with raising your prices like this, because I feel there is a cap for how much the layman, the regular old gamer, is willing to spend on VR, and that cap is $500. Anything below that does fairly well sales wise. Anything above that, cooked. So I think they're kind of pushing it. I don't know, man. Like the reason why I asked if you had one or not, because if you said you didn't have one, I was gonna ask you, would you really be interested in getting one at these kind of prices? But yeah, doesn't really fit your situation, I guess. We got one more rapid fire. You want to jump into that real quick before we get into the main topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So look, according to Jeff Grubb, shout out to Grubb.
Where's the music?
Oh, my bad. Hold on.
You just started talking.
Oh, really?
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, I'll start again. According to Jeff Grubb, he's heard that Fable has been pushed out internally, has been pushed out of the fall 2026 window. That Microsoft are worried about GTA 6.
Absolutely.
And if the release date of it actually being ready to go ends up being December, that they may just hold it off for 2026. Many, that would be this story but there's more. Many have been taking a tweet from the Playground Games Twitter account where they were replying to a fan saying something like to the effect of like, we'll see you this fall, as an indication that Jeff Grubb's information is false. Me personally, I think that's a paper thin logic there. Before say, what are your thoughts on this whole situation with Fable?
Did you just die?
Did you not hear anything I said?
I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I said, well, what are your thoughts on this information, all this stuff coming out about Fable?
I didn't hear that at all. I just heard you talking and then you stopped and I was like, well, did he say something else? If I remember correctly, when we were talking about we were talking about when Xbox announced their showcase for June, and we were talking about what we expect to see there. And I said release dates for Fable. And I said, I feel like Fable is not coming out this year. It's going to come out in probably February. Not because I had any knowledge. It's just mostly due to the fact that the release schedule, the way it lines up for them this holiday, and what it lines up to them beforehand, they have a lot of games coming out. Like, yes, would it be nice for them to release Fable this year? Absolutely, it would. But if Fable, that's why I said I remember saying exactly. I said if Fable doesn't come out by September, it's not coming out this year.
I agree with that.
It has to come. Like if September is the date, then it's fine. But if it's coming out after September, there is no. Go ahead.
It's fine-ish. Look,
it's
I'm
fine-ish.
I'm hyped for Fable.
But that gives you
It comes out in September. It's going head up with Wolverine. Wolverine's absolutely going to outsell it. So
but I also think. But
what that means is that like there's a lot of people. If they gotta buy one game that month, it's gonna be Wolverine instead of Fable.
Well, I will also say this:
been around in over a decade.
But Fable's gonna
freaking Wolverine.
But Fable's gonna be. But okay, so I guess this comes down to the Xbox plan. Then, are you gonna play if you're a multi-console owner? Are you gonna put time into Fable? Because I already know what PlayStation gamers are gonna do. First of all, it's not coming to PlayStation day and date. It's coming to PlayStation later. So they're already they're already playing again. They're already playing Wolverine. They're, unless they have an Xbox, a couple of them may pick up Fable when it comes out, but they're definitely going to pick up Wolverine. What is the Xbox fan going to do? Is the Xbox fan not going to pick up Fable? Because they going to say, oh, I only got so much money to spend in the next 2 months.
Is that true?
What?
Okay, I think it's Mally got it, and the chat says Fable is day and date.
Is
we
it
don't
day
have a
and date?
release date. We don't have a release date. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
only
if
have
we
a
know
release
that
date.
for certain. I don't know if we know for certain if it's day and date on PlayStation or not.
I know they announced
Horizon 6 is not day and date.
And they even showed
they've only given us a release window for Fable, which is autumn 2026, and that's really about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not day and date. I don't know because they haven't said anything, but I know off of Forza, yes, the PlayStation logo is very prominent in their trailer. But it still isn't day and date. So they can still show a trailer with a PlayStation logo in it, and the game still not come out on the same day as the Xbox version. So until they come out and say this game is coming on the same day as release, then I'm just going to operate under the assumption that PlayStation gamers are not going to pick up Fable day one. They're going to play Wolverine when it comes out, and which is kind of bad for Microsoft, because if they're not going to pick up Fable day one and they're going to wait to play it, when are they going to play it? Are they going to play it? Are they going to try to skim it in after Wolverine? Well, Wolverine is slap dab right up against, Grand Theft Auto a month later. So I just think at that point, it's like kind of worrisome what they want to do. I just really want to see what the Xbox community does, because they say they want these games to be exclusive. They say they want the power of the console to be recognized again. They want this. Okay, they want that.
Hold on. I checked the PlayStation blog from January, and it says that Fable is coming out on PlayStation 5 in the autumn 2026. So it's a simultaneous release. So it will be on PlayStation 5 the same month as Wolverine.
Well, guess what? It definitely ain't going to be the game that people are going to pick, because they're going to pick Wolverine.
Exactly. So
it still doesn't change the math. They're still going to pick Wolverine.
And even that is still a preferable month. I would still go in September, just knowing that on PlayStation, I'm probably not going to get the kind of sales that I'm looking for.
You'll get sales, you just won't get the ones that you really want, but it's better than trying to launch in November or December.
You still have PC, and you still got Xbox as platforms that you can sell the game on. It's not just PlayStation. And frankly, outside of Forza Horizon 5, have any of the other releases that Xbox has put their games on PlayStation really done all that great? Not really. So I'm not going to delay it because of that. But
just release it in February.
Now, I wouldn't, if it's not ready in September, I would not release it in October, because now you're clashing with your own game, which is Call of Duty. So you don't want that. And then, Gears E-Day. We don't have a release date for that, do we?
That game shouldn't come out. No, we don't.
So Gears E-Day is September.
That's what I think. Gears E-Day is September.
When do you release this game? Because
that's what I'm saying.
GTA 6 is November. Your own game, Call of Duty. Now, it would not surprise me at all, because they've done stuff like this before, where they had Forza.
They did Forza and Halo literally 2 weeks apart from each other.
Yeah, that was stupid. So it wouldn't surprise me if they would do something that stupid, but it would be cannibalizing its own popularity, its own interest.
But then they're going to complain to us and tell us that the game didn't sell, and I'm gonna be like, wonder why. Wonder why.
The thing is that, like, going in December doesn't work for me either, because
I think GTA Online is going to launch in December, which is even going to be worse.
Right. If Rockstar follows their typical cadence of before, where with GTA 5 they released the main game, the campaign, and then like weeks later they release GTA Online after that, that means you're running into that buzzsaw for December too. It may just be better to have it come out in 2027. And the reason why I
February.
said that the logic that some of these people were using about that tweet was a bit flimsy is that how many times have we seen that like the person who runs like the social media for a studio on a game is the last person to know anything about what's going on? Like those people typically are not developers. They're not in the rooms when the wheeling and dealing happens. They're not in the rooms when the decisions are made. They're the last person to get told when a game's getting moved, because all they gotta do is craft the message and put it out there.
True.
So people using this as the smoking gun. Hey, Jeff Grubb is wrong. Don't worry about it. It's still coming out this year. Pump your brakes.
I'm trying to
Because
tell
I
you.
remember in one of the GTA 6 delays, the rumors were GTA 6 was going to get delayed, and then a Rockstar account was tweeting out about its release date that wasn't true anymore, and because they're the last people to know.
They're the last people to know.
Back in the, y'all remember when State of Decay 2, the whoever was running the social media for that game said, someone asked them, is State of Decay 2 a AAA game? And that whoever was running that account said AAA all the way.
Triple way all the way.
It was not a AAA game. That person, not a dev, don't even know what AAA means. They just got a job. What you want me to do? You want me to tweet this out? Cool. Reply to people, be nice. Ignore all the bad comments. This is what I'm here for. Cool. Like, that's not nothing to hang your hat on. I feel like 2027 seems more likely for a lot of reasons. GTA 6, your own stacked release window of your own games, and considering that like a lot of the talk is that it's just not quite ready yet.
Right.
You don't want it to come in hot. Like, well, why rush it out and be somewhat unoptimized?
I agree.
When you're just running into a bus or running into your own games, it just seems unnecessary. Yeah, I agree.
It is it is definitely unnecessary.
Go ahead and save that thing to April. I'm sorry, not April, February.
February, yeah. Because but then I also think the fatigue will be off, because I think as much as Grand Theft Auto is a single player game, but then it has a multiplayer component, that's a huge game. I think a lot of people will be looking forward to more of a curated, crafted story. And I think Fable would be something that a lot of people would kind of pick up. But then we seen games like this, like big, huge, open games, story-driven games and stuff, do really well in February. I mean, freaking think Elden Ring and all of these other. Didn't Cleric Cure come out in February or March? It came out early in the year. I know that. So games like this do well early in the year. And I just feel like you need to give, and then you don't want to do something like it, because then February is about that time tax season comes around. People got a little bit more money to spend. You avoid the month of December and January because people are already competing for their dollars during that month, and then people are recouping during the month of January, and then they're right back at it towards the middle of February, end of February, looking for that next game that they can buy. And I think that would be a better spot for them to land in, because if they can't make September, it's like, I'm not going to say they're sending the game out there to die, because I think Fable has a little bit more power and there is a lot of buzz around the game. But I don't know how many people outside of the Xbox ecosystem is going to care about it during December. We already see, like, it's like almost the complete opposite of Starfield. More people on more platforms cared about Starfield when it was announced and when it was talked about coming out. But since it came out so long after the Xbox version and all of the buzz wore off, now nobody on other platforms cares about it. And I know we're talking about that. Fable's going to have the opposite effect of that. People on Xbox are really super excited, but with the window that this game could kind of release in, it's just bad timing. Even if a person on another platform like Xbox or on PlayStation or on PC does want to play it, maybe PC, because Grand Theft Auto's not coming out on PC day, this calendar year at all. So PC will probably be fine, but PlayStation gamers, where the bigger player base is, they're not going to sacrifice Grand Theft Auto, and they're definitely probably not going to sacrifice Wolverine to play an Xbox game. Some probably will, the ones that got enough time in the day to do it, but just delay it, man. Or not even delay it, just do the right thing and push it to next year, and use that time to add things to the game and make, and like,
No, you want to polish it at this point. Adding things to the game only makes
that's what I meant. Not add.
process.
Well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean to say add. I was meaning like add things, like polish, but it was like the wrong wording. But this is the chance for you to go in and make sure this game is rock solid. Pause when it's done.
Yeah, I agree, man. Go ahead and delay it to next year. It's fine. The people
live to fight another day
who were shouting about this and using tweets and ignoring all the other evidence that those tweets don't really mean much. They'll be there next year to play it too. So
they will. They will be there.
Let's get into this last topic.
Last topic.
And this is so. It's I feel like this topic is kind of similar to something that we've been discussing for a few weeks now. But new Microsoft Gaming CEO Asha Sharma is looking to have, quote, deeper investment in the Xbox platform foundations. Now, what does that mean? I have no freaking clue.
I have no idea.
But I guess we're going to find out soon. In an internal memo, Asha said that Game Pass has become too expensive. Duh.
Whose fault is that, Asha?
And another, well, not hers, because she wasn't.
It definitely ain't her fault. No, what I'm saying, but, whose fault is it? Yeah. The person that is sitting at the head of Microsoft right now, and their goons that are Amy Hood and them. So, but whatever. Continue.
And in another internal memo, she said that water's wet. So anyway,
water's wet. It is kind of wet though. I ain't gonna lie.
Asha said, in quote, and this is from the memo: short-term Game Pass has become too expensive for players, so we need a better value equation. Long-term, we will evolve Game Pass into a more flexible system, which will take time to test and learn around. Mm-hmm. There is also been discussed a potential option, and this is coming from Jez Corden, who heard this. But if you've been watching DPS, then I've been saying this since last year. But there's a potential option for Microsoft to no longer have Call of Duty, brand new Call of Duties, which, to be completely accurate, releasing in Game Pass day one.
Mm-hmm.
They are also looking closely at Game Pass pricing with a view to offer a wider range of pricing models. I saw another rumor saying that this might be the introduction of a new tier that would just be for day one releases of Game Pass. I mean, it's not Game Pass, but Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
And so
let us begin.
um.
Let us begin.
So I'm trying to figure because I heard
You're
some
confused.
things.
You're
I
confused
heard
too, aren't you?
no because I heard some things that kind of have changed my perspective on some of this stuff. And
Okay.
I'm not really going to get into details on it, but people thinking exclusives are back on the table now
Now,
as well.
well,
Um,
and I think
and
water's wet.
I think ultimately exclusives are never going to be like true exclusives with Xbox with Satya Nadella in charge as CEO. And maybe he's not sometime in the future because the AI push it ain't looking too high.
Right.
And investors are not happy. So he might find himself spending way more time shining up that bald head than he currently does right now.
You are
That
talking
said,
about that man's bald head. That's terrible.
that it's okay. He'll be all right. He's rich. That
He is
said,
rich. You're right about that.
he's still there. And so while he's still there, he will continue to want these games everywhere. But as I said earlier, and we've seen all of this like kind of information coming out whenever there's a release of one of these Xbox games on PlayStation. It don't really seem like it's selling like that. Forza Horizon 5, notwithstanding here. Like, I'm talking about the rest of them. Because even Gears Reloaded, the first Gears game on PlayStation, didn't sell great. So, what did you give up your brand reputation for?
Coke
To
and a
to
smile.
to basically sell your games on another platform and barely make a dent? I don't think it was worth it. Now,
Well,
do I
SloMo.
think this means exclusives are back? Nah. Maybe timed exclusives, and I think that would be smart. I'm gonna say
Okay.
two things about this, and then I'll get into all the other stuff. It would be I'm gonna say what I think they should do, and then in order, like if I was in Asha's position, what I would recommend to Satya to do, and then I'm gonna say what I think they're gonna end up doing. And so,
Oh.
if I was Asha, what I would recommend is that take Xbox Game Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So you got three publishing houses. You have ABK, you've got ZeniMax Media, which is Bethesda, and all their studios, and you got Xbox Game Studios, which is your Halo Studios, your Coalition, your Playground, Undead Labs, Compulsion, all of them, right?
All of that.
All of them. I would split out Minecraft because I'm gonna keep that everywhere. But for Xbox Game Studios explicitly, all those games are exclusive to Xbox and PC, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Those games never go anywhere else. And yeah, Forza Horizon 5 did great on PlayStation. All right. I'm going to say the same thing that PlayStation said to PC gamers. If you like that one and you want the next one, go buy yourself a PlayStation. Okay. PlayStation gamers, if you like Forza Horizon 5 and you want Forza Horizon 6, well, that ship has sailed already. If you like Forza Horizon 6 and you want Forza Horizon 7, go buy yourself an Xbox or a PC and play it over there. That's what I would do. I would make it because Xbox Game Studios has all of the kind of games and IP that are considered the blueprint of Xbox, the foundation of Xbox. Those games shouldn't just I'm sorry, but you just shouldn't have that on a Nintendo device. You shouldn't have it on and people will say slow-mo your console war. I'm like, no, this is not console war. This is about brand identity. And they lost their identity when they started putting their games on other platforms that did not reciprocate and not going to reciprocate whatsoever. You don't have a brand identity. And so in order to get that back, you got to take the games that people, when they think about that game, they think about your platform. You got to have that be exclusively where it's at. Now, that's not going to happen. But what I do
Definitely
think
ain't
will
gonna happen.
happen is that maybe next year, maybe starting next year, they're going to start having basically timed exclusivity across the board. Everything
Yeah.
still goes to PlayStation, but
You
depending
gotta wait
on
a
the
little longer.
game, depending on the game, the release window on PlayStation is not the release date of Xbox and PC. And I think they think that's enough of a half measure to generate interest in the platform, in the hardware. This is a value proposition where you get these games first here. And I don't think that's enough. I think we kind of saw that with PC gamers when it came to PlayStation. They're not really trying to buy a closed system
Nope.
PlayStation 5 to play these games day one. For the most part, most of them are like, I will wait. I will wait for Soros to show up on PC. I will wait for
Yep.
Wolverine to show up on PC. And it doesn't matter what Sony says, they feel like that's going to be the move for them. That eventually Sony will capitulate and give them what they want. But
Or they'll capitulate, and when Sony says we're raising the price by $150, they're going to run out the house with their underwear on to go buy a PlayStation 5 Pro that they thought was a bad deal at $750 and say,
no, it's even worse than with 900.
$750 sounds great right now.
Right. So
Craziness.
So Forte, but
Yeah.
let's discuss this. We'll get to the other stuff with Game Pass, Call of Duty in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying that you agree with me that like they're not going to do what I suggested. Do you think they would do the timed exclusivity across the board though?
Do I think they would do time exclusivity? They should do it, but there's a reason that their biggest games like Fable, like we just it hasn't been confirmed 100%, but that it has the same launch window as the Xbox version, because that's a game that they are betting on to move numbers. They don't think they can do it just on the Xbox platform. So they feel like they need to do it, Xbox and PC. They feel like they need the PlayStation platform to move it on. So I think they're going to probably use the other titles as more of a litmus test to see what they can probably garner from the Xbox community on games that aren't day and date, like Gears E-Day, even though I feel like Gears E-Day, yes, it is a story for that people realize and understand. It is a newer story, but a lot of people, if you read the books and stuff like that, you kind of know where this is kind of going. But the remake of Gears is more for the PlayStation fan than it is the Xbox fan, because they want to get people in on ground zero. So this game matters more to PlayStation gamers than the Xbox gamers, which is wild to say for a Gears of War game. But Gears is going to be the litmus test because it's not day and date. It's coming to Xbox first, and we're going to see how Xbox fans support it. And if Xbox fans support it and they bring a level of intrigue to the game, it will make them kind of think about what you just said. Maybe we can bring games a little bit later to PlayStation if our community is going to support us. So,
in the chat, and shout out to Rob in the chat, he said, would it be better to make PC and PlayStation wait 6 months to a year if you want the game buy a Xbox on day one. I'm gonna say this: it's different for PC when it
Yeah,
comes
you
to
better
them.
you leave PC out of this.
Yeah, because PC, their games sell better on PC than they
Than their own
do
console.
do on Xbox at this point. Take Starfield for example. Starfield sold great on Steam.
Sure did.
Like, it was charting for half the year in the top 10 on Steam. It's so great over there. Not so much on Xbox. And I think like when Forza Horizon 6 comes out, Forza Horizon 6 is going to do numbers on PC.
Yep.
It probably would do numbers on Xbox, but PC
all the-
likely, if we were able to see the splits, it would be higher. And so I do not think that, like, the only thing that seems that appears from what we've seen and what people have talked about and all the data that's out there, the only game that's really done numbers on PlayStation, that's one of their games, and I'm not talking like, I think Oblivion did pretty well. I mean, the Oblivion remake, I think that might have done pretty well. But Forza Horizon 5 is the only one that seems to really have been like a major success and in their eyes worth it to essentially kill the brand image in order to, get those additional sales. The
And
rest of them,
and Forza's the only one that truly makes sense because there's nothing like that on the PlayStation platform. There's no other game, like, ever since Need for Speed went, like, and even Need for Speed is more of an arcade thing, and Forza Horizon is an arcade racer too, but it's more, it's got more sim to it than arcade. And there is no other game on that play. Like, they have a Forza Motorsport over there. It's called Gran Turismo. That's why I kept telling people, it's like, well, Forza Motorsport could go over there. I said they probably will never put Forza Motorsport over there because there's no reason. They got Gran Turismo.
You remember, and this is just internal, like, information that you and I had when we before everyone heard that Forza was going to PlayStation, we knew about it.
Yeah, we knew about it.
And we were talking back then. At the time, it was just known that Forza was going to PlayStation. We didn't know whether it was Motorsport. We didn't know whether it was Horizon. But it didn't matter because you and I already knew they weren't putting Motorsport over there.
There was no reason for them to put Motorsport over there.
They were putting Horizon over there. That game is about as good of a guarantee on sales and a high Metacritic score that Xbox has right now. It's a guarantee every time it releases. And so, sure, when you have a platform that's got, I would say, inferior arcade racers on it already that aren't as good as well known as Forza Horizon is, that was going to do great over there. But like everything else, I'm not quite certain that is the case. And you could, if you, to appease, the non-gaming executives at Microsoft, if you're forced to put them on that platform, I think they probably would end up fighting for the ability to create value for the Xbox by making them all timed.
This is the crazy thing.
I don't think that will work though, as far as. Go ahead.
But no, I'm saying this is a crazy thing. Would Halo, to me, with Halo going over to a PlayStation, to me, it would be more cannon fodder for the PlayStation fan than meaningful sales for the PlayStation platform. I feel like Halo, that game, would it sell on PlayStation? I think it would. But do I think it would be something that's a guarantee on PlayStation?
Well, we got Halo campaign.
We do.
Evolved coming. I maybe probably the summer.
Is that
considering their release schedule? Like, that seems like the only time they could release it would be in the summer, and it's a remake of a game, so it's not as big a priority as like E-Day and
E-Day and
all the
stuff.
other ones. But it wouldn't surprise me if Fable had a good launch on PlayStation, and this would be mostly out of curiosity of like the old school fans that just want to own it on a
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Just
You
want to
know?
own it on the PlayStation. Just say, I supported an Xbox game on my PlayStation and you didn't even buy it.
Right. Now, 2 weeks after launch, who knows?
Who
Because
knows?
and I've said this before, and I'm a massive Halo fan. I love me some Halo.
Sure do.
But the gunplay is so different than what's traditional right now. It's so
Yeah.
different from Call of Duty. It's so different from Battlefield that, like,
You literally got
I
to
don't
practice
think.
on Halo.
Yeah, you do.
You got to
And
play Halo consistently to be really good at it.
I mean, I think that you gotta do that for all
Well,
shooters, but
yeah,
more so with Halo because
with
of
Halo.
the skill gap. And it plays differently. Like you're not ADSing as much as you do in the other shooters. The skill
Oh,
based
you're hit.
matchmaking is very strict. Your hip firing has to be on point. Movement's different. Like it moves different than Call of Duty. It moves different. Like you're the way you navigate around maps. It's all very different.
Mhm.
I think the PlayStation gamer likely don't gravitate to it like that. And you know, I've had some discussions with some Xbox fans about this, and they I think some people don't know how to separate what their personal interests are from everyone else.
They're feeling.
Because yeah, they're a little in their feelings. Because when I said something similar about Gears as well, like when Gears Reloaded didn't do well over there, a lot of the response is, well, it's kind of like a half-assed remaster. And I'm like, yeah, but that community's never played it for the most
Right.
part.
So it's new to
So it
them.
doesn't. So it's new, even though like it's got a facelift, but level design is still very much like a Xbox 360 era kind of game. It's still brand new to them. It's still got interesting characters. It's still got a good story. You know, give it a shot. And it's Gears on a PlayStation, but it still didn't do that. And so when I look at that and I think about how more for the last 3 to 4 years, more than 50% of all revenue generated on a PlayStation platform has come from essentially a handful of games.
7
And those
games,
handful of games are all live service games.
all third party.
Excuse me. Um, it tells me who the PlayStation community mostly is, and it's not these guys y'all argue with on social media.
Oh, you talk about the ones that always talk about, oh, this game sold this many. I was like, well,
They're not the majority.
they're not the
Like,
majority?
Yeah, and so they will play Halo on PlayStation and then say, "Hey, I want to beat up on some Xbox guys in multiplayer." Oh, hey, let me take screenshots and brag about how good this looks on my PS5 Pro. But the majority of those guys, the people on the platform, the people who are there for Fortnite and playing with their friends, for NBA 2K, for Madden, for Call of Duty, that's the dad shooter.
The dad.
I've heard that before. Halo is the dad shooter, and they're not really trying to learn it. Gears, the cover shooting, so different. How many of these PlayStation guys going to learn how to wall bounce?
Wall bounce, baby.
Not many.
No, it's true. Not many.
So I'll go back to this and we can get on to some of these other topics. Why are you putting your games over there for? How does it benefit you? Like, look, I hope these are the questions that are going to be asked. If I'm correct and these games don't sell great over there, you essentially took a massive dump on your own platform and did it for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you really gotta look at yourself, look at what you're doing, and say, was any of this worth it? And I would say that would be a massive, massive no. But This other part here. Let's get into something that we both said was going to be happen. We said this right after Black Ops 7 came out. There is a potential option for Microsoft to no longer have Call of Duty brand new releases in Game Pass. For all of y'all that are listening, and y'all been listening to DPS for a while, I've been saying this.
one shot in the dream. That's what that was.
I was saying this before Black Ops 7 came out. This is the last one. They ain't doing this again.
No.
Because
on that.
Think about this for a moment, especially considering that how much Game Pass costs now. If you want to play Call of Duty through Game Pass Ultimate, and unless you did some kind of grandfather deal in, you're paying $30 a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
$30 a month is $360 a year. Do you know that you could buy the most expensive edition of Call of Duty that year? Buy the Black Sale version of the Battle Pass. You could do that for every quarter that every season pops up and still not spend as much money as you spent on Game Pass Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the kind of player that only plays Call of Duty, FIFA, or whatever, EA, FC Sports, whatever you want to call it, Madden, NBA 2K, if you that kind of casual gamer, what's the purpose of Game Pass? If you don't value those other games, it doesn't matter how good they are. Expedition 33 launched in Game Pass last year. Major W for Xbox. You got the game of the year day one on your subscription service, your platform.
Didn't matter though.
But yeah, but again, I love it. But the casual gamer do bro playing Call of Duty, don't give a damn about no Expedition 33. They don't care. So like they I feel like they put themselves in a position where they had to do that because the whole FTC trial, the promise of what Game Pass was supposed to do, first party games day one. Activision's a first party publisher and developer now. You gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for Game Pass members who don't play Call of Duty. So you don't play Call of Duty and you were just fine with $20 a month. Then they added Call of Duty, now it's $30 a month. I play Call of Duty, but I can understand people who don't feeling some kind of way about that.
Mm-hmm.
So Forte, what do you think they're going to do with COD? I already kind of know, but just for the audience, humor us. What do you think they're going to do?
So, the experiment of putting it on Game Pass, it sounds good, but when you're losing revenue on your biggest game of the year, they ain't gonna do that again. They ain't gonna keep doing that. And I also feel, and then I used to think that they would just move Call of Duty into a higher tier Game Pass. Like they kind of did that when they made when they separated the tiers, and I thought they would make like another tier that's a little bit higher that came with something like Call of Duty. But with Asha coming out with this whole Game Pass is too expensive thing, I don't even think they're gonna do that now. So I just think that the value proposition is going to lower because they're going to lower the price of Game Pass. Like it's gonna get to a more normal state. I don't know if it's going to get back down to $19.99 a month like it was. It may go down to $25 instead of $30 or $24, kind of where Netflix, like their highest tier is sitting at. Even $6 would make a big difference to a lot of people. But I also just don't think that's going to get you Call of Duty anymore. I don't think that's going to get you a lot of those bigger games. I also think that it's going to be a chance where Call of Duty is just going to be the beginning of that, because there's going to be games that's going to be huge AAA games that's not going to go into Game Pass day and date. Now, will you get those games at a faster cadence inside of Game Pass versus somebody that would have to wait like 6 or 7 months, like how EA does with their stuff when it comes to like their games hitting the EA Play server? I think it'll be faster than that. But I was always a huge proponent, because I feel like as much as I loved Game Pass and the proposition and the value, because even think about it, even at $30, Game Pass is still a heck of a value. It's still worth it, but it's got to be worth it to the individual that's partaking in it. Like he talked about the Call of Duty gamer. If you're playing just Call of Duty or one or two just games, and you're buying battle passes and dead cell things, you're still spending more money on Game Pass than you are by just buying the game. So for that person, it's not really a huge benefit. It's just that you're hoping that they want to play other things outside of that too. And that's kind of what the whole Game Pass model is. But I can just foresee a future where they tell people like, hey, we're going to bring these games faster to Game Pass. But the biggest mistake they've always made is jumping head first and just saying Game Pass, get everything day and date. That was the biggest, I want to say the biggest problem with Game Pass. Yes, I enjoyed those games going into Game Pass day and date. Yes, I enjoy getting Halo Infinite day one and Forza Horizon 5 day one and every Xbox exclusive day one, Starfield day one and everything. I love that. But it kind of made people feel like it's like the value of the game wasn't there for a lot of people, because being a person that got a lot of free games. I only really value the ones that I paid for myself. Like, yeah, I have this huge library of games that I was given, but what's my connection to them? Like, it's cool to say, oh, I got this game for free, and oh, I got this game for free. And unless you're a person that does content creation and you like to review games and you like to talk about a bunch of different games by just playing them, you don't have time to go through all of that stuff. So you're going to like kind of pick and choose what you want. And if they give you a free copy, or I'm just using Game Pass as free because it's not free. But if they give you a game that you really, really care about that could be in that service, awesome. I remember for 2 years, Destiny was free in Game Pass. If you had a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you didn't even have to buy the $100 DLC. They gave it to you. And I was like, yo, well, I take that back. You did have to buy the $100 DLC. You just got the seasons for free. But if you wanted all that extra stuff, you had to buy it. And I was like, yo, this is great. I ain't even got to buy this $20 DLC because I got Game Pass. And I was 100% because I was playing that game like crazy. So during that time, it was a huge benefit because I didn't have to buy it. But for a lot of other people, did it really matter to them? So I just think at a certain point, they completely jumped the gun because they were reacting to a situation where they didn't have any studios for a long time. They only had 3 first-party studios, and then they got this massive influx of studios that's making these games for them. And then they wanted to like say, okay, well, people aren't buying games. Let's give them more games by giving them games day and date into this service and build the subscription model, which worked to like kind of stabilize Xbox. But it was kind of the downfall of it at the same time. A lot of people are going to tell you they should probably reverse that. I honestly feel like if they really want to bring the ownership of the Xbox brand back, Game Pass and day and date kind of needs to be a way of the dodo, kind of, because that is the thing that's making people, not people, but Xbox feel like people aren't supporting their games. Because guess what? If I could just play all their games for $30, why am I going to buy anything? I'll just wait for it to come into Game Pass and just use my subscription to do it. But for them, that's not a benefit. Call of Duty being played, and I wish they came out with the actual numbers for Call of Duty, like how many people are actually playing it inside of Game Pass versus how many people actually bought the game in that way. Because we know that Call of Duty was selling 30 million copies a year, sometimes 40 million. How much of that got decreased by people having Game Pass on PC, Game Pass on Xbox? We know the PlayStation gamers still bought the game because that's the only way they could play it. But how much 7 million copies probably got taken off that? There's like 25 to 30 million Game Pass subscriptions. So now you have people that would normally pay $70 for a game or $100 for the game, and let's say they don't like it. Guess what? They don't ever have to log into it again. So the engagement for that person is gone. You basically gave the person the game for $30 for their subscription, and they never log into it again because it's like, oh, the single player was fine. I only played the first 2 levels of it. I ain't really like it. It didn't hook me. And they just walked away from the game. The multiplayer is too glitchy. I don't like the spawn camping, and I don't like this. So they walk away from the game. Versus when they paid for the game, you kind of tolerate that stuff a little bit more because you spent $70 on it. So that is kind of the mindset that they're kind of thinking through now. And especially with one of their major platform, their major games, is it a real benefit to put that in that service? Because if people don't like it, we basically gave them a demo, a full demo into the game, and we know that they're never going to come back. Versus, I don't care if you play it for 20 minutes. I don't care if you pay it for 100 hours. I got your $70 already. And that's and that goes to the very bottom line of what Microsoft is trying to do. And when they're talking about the overall survival of their platform and just the ability to like sell games to people. So that's kind of what I think. But I truly do think that at some point, Call of Duty is just going to be the first game that's not going to be in there. There's going to be other games, big games that's going to come out, and they're slowly going to wean people off of that day and date thing. I think a lot of smaller games will still come. I don't know about all the big ones.
It went from, if you got Game Pass, you get these games day and date, period.
Exactly.
And then it went to now only the top tier, Ultimate, which is the most expensive tier, gets those games.
Get those games.
Now it's going to Call of Duty might not be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we got a troll in the chat. I'm going to call him a troll. Definitely a console warrior being a little emotional, saying that we're lying because he doesn't like what we're saying. Let me just be clear here.
I don't know what they're going to do. I just only can speculate on what I think they're going to do.
Them talking about removing Call of Duty and saying that this is too expensive isn't somehow a coincidence.
Right.
And it wasn't just Call of Duty. They added a Fortnite subscription in there, which is just as pointless to people who don't play Fortnite. If you don't play Fortnite and you don't play Call of Duty, they increased the subscription to $30. They added in something you're never going to use in games you're never going to play. Where's the value to you? And so when you look at these things, you look at all this stuff. No, I didn't lie on you. You said you are lying. You literally you misspelled lying, Mac City, but you said you are lying.
He said you misspelled it.
It's right there. You look at what you wrote a little while ago. You said you were lying. You said we're running misinformation. This isn't misinformation. This is what they are saying that they are talking about, and this is things that they've already done. Them putting better server blades to make xCloud attempt to be competitive with GeForce Now is not the reason why they increased the price to $30. Be for real.
Yep.
First of all, they should have been did that because xCloud was trash before then. Now it's decent. It's still now on the level of GeForce Now, but that's supposed to be the reason that you increase the price? No. When they make changes and they announce their changes, those changes are not going to include removing xCloud from all the tiers. It's not. With these changes come, and if they do the part where they might actually, there's the talk that they may create a tier just for day one games. Guess what's going to be in there too? xCloud, because they couldn't wait for you to use that. They would love for you to use that. Love for you so much, they put it in every tier but PC Game Pass. And why didn't they put it in PC Game Pass? Because what the heck is a PC gamer going to subscribe to that for when they got GeForce Now?
When they got GeForce Now.
So I'm sorry if accurate information hurts y'all feelings, but that's what we do around here. That's what we're going to keep doing.
Smoking.
So, anywho, back on topic.
SloMo facting people right now.
About the Fortnite. You added Fortnite in there, which I think the Fortnite subscription is around like $10, $11, like anywhere $10 to $12. Right. That value in itself, understandable. So when people want to say, well, what are you getting for $30? You are getting a lot.
You are.
But again, to kind of go back to what we kind of talked about earlier about like things being important, like again, like Expedition 33, amazing, game of the generation kind of game, launched in Game Pass. But if you don't play RPGs or you really dislike turn-based RPGs, what value is that to you? It doesn't really matter, right? So like we see this with like Netflix and stuff like that. When people decide, well, I'm unsubscribing from Netflix because Stranger Things, the series is over. There's nothing else on this platform I like to watch. Does that mean that there's just literally nothing else on Netflix to watch? No, but for them, ain't nothing worth it. And so if I was a gamer who didn't play Fortnite, didn't play Call of Duty, and I was enjoying my Game Pass with day one Xbox games, and then you pushed it to the top tier, and then later on added, Fortnite subscription on it. I don't care about none of that stuff.
Right.
That's not value to that person. And so when Asha's talking about making changes that this is too expensive in the short term, it makes a lot of sense about why they want to make some of these changes now, because sure, maybe in the long term, you can get more people to say, hey, look, we appreciate some of the things that are here, but in the short term, it doesn't make sense for them right now. It doesn't make sense for a lot of people right now. And in particular with Call of Duty, there was a report of like, I think it was like either 200 to 300 million that they had lost from launching the game into Game Pass for a Black Ops 7, which I think, outside the campaign, which I wasn't going to touch anyway, quality game. But doesn't matter what I think when the majority says otherwise.
True.
Has sold the least, even though it still was number 5 last year to date on Circana. So it still did, tons of people would love to have those sales. But that's not what Call of Duty level sales are usually. So that ain't good enough. when you had that kind of result, and they were already shaky on putting it back in the Game Pass to begin with, yeah, you're gonna make that change. So none of this is surprising whatsoever. Anywho, the other part here, what is that? Let's turn that off. Sorry.
You're good.
More than likely, and we can, because we pretty much discussed every aspect of this so far. More than likely, we're not getting like whatever changes happen here. It's not gonna be going to find out next week.
Nope.
I actually even don't even think that whatever changes happens or will be something that we know before or during the June showcase. But I could be wrong. When do you think they'll make announcements of changes going forward?
Changes to what mostly?
Game Pass for the most part.
Ooh. Before Call of Duty comes out, so around August. I think during Summer Games Fest, it will get announced.
Summer Game. Well, I mean that's the same time period. That's Summer
Oh
Game
yeah,
Fest
no. You're right.
But no, if you think they'll make an announcement around that time period,
I think they'll make it like in September, like probably the lead up to whatever that game's going to be in September. They're going to announce it, because if they're going to officially announce that Call of Duty isn't going to be in Game Pass, I think that the caveat to that is going to be the fact that the price of Game Pass is being lowered to kind of soften the blow of people officially hearing that this year's Call of Duty won't be in there. So if they're saving money on the back end, they're saying, well, we're going to save you money on the back end. The price of Game Pass is going down. But the unfortunate thing is, games like Call of Duty will not be available in Game Pass this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they still have things that are part of Game Pass. Like maybe they would do something like the, if you're Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. And I think this will actually be a really good, because they could do, if they're doing it with Fortnite, they could do it with Call of Duty. I can see them doing something like the first season of Black Sail being a part of Game Pass Ultimate if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber.
If you want to convince people who play Call of Duty heavy to subscribe to Game Pass in order to play Call of Duty, you gotta give them more than just the standard game.
Yes,
like
you have to.
When they got Black Sail, they got battle passes, all that other, like
they get the vote edition version or whatever.
Right. And Stanley in the chat said, "Hey, look, if Call of Duty players want to play Call of Duty, they should just buy it." I mean, well, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Like, I mean, if it's cheaper to do that, it's cheaper to just buy the game and buy all the battle passes, and that's cheaper than subscribing to Game Pass Ultimate for a year. So yeah, that's a smarter deal for them than to subscribe to Game Pass for it. Now, if you're there, if you play a lot of other games and not just Call of Duty, and you just so happen to play Call of Duty, hey, look, there's a benefit, there's a perk there. You're going to get there. But if that's not you, if you primarily play games like Madden or 2K, Call of Duty, if you're that kind of gamer, and there's a lot of people who are just like that, there's a lot of casuals that are just like that, it doesn't benefit you because none of those games are day one in the service, and you're spending $360 a year for that. So if they wanted to entice more Call of Duty players to subscribe, you would put the battle pass in there too.
Maybe battle pass,
not Black Sail.
But the battle pass, yeah.
So think about it. $70 for the game. You add the battle pass. This is 4 seasons. $10 for 4 seasons. It's a value of $110 for people who primarily aren't going to play any of the other games that are in Game Pass anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that affect the people that don't play Call of Duty? None.
None.
But the people who do play Call of Duty, maybe they'll subscribe because they're getting a bigger benefit out of it. Now, I still think they would say no because in the grand scheme of things, like I said, they could spend their money individually, buy the game and the battle, and even buy the black sale version of the battle passes, and it'll be cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really like value to the individual is up to that individual, and so it's very very subjective. I think in the grand scheme of it, they'll probably if they make an announcement during the June showcase, it's probably going to be a very like on the seeming pro consumer kind of deal. Because she said it's too expensive. Okay, so what you're saying is something either needs to go down in price or something needs to go away.
Right.
But also go down like a tier needs to go away or something. Like, not sure how they're going to make that work. But if you're saying it's too expensive, then you need to, for the people who are subscribed in the service, make it more affordable, make it cheaper for them. If that means if you're removing COD out of the service, if you're removing the Fortnite subscription out of the service, I don't know how many people are actually using that through Game Pass anyway. Okay, is the price going back down to $20 a month? Because then that's something you could announce at a June showcase and people do a backflip over. True. But if you remove things out this service and the price don't go down, oh man, it's not gonna go over well. Like that's not gonna work at all. Right. So you're going to need to figure this thing out in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to need to figure it out in a way where people are looking at it and saying, I'm getting a better deal out of what Game Pass is now than what I was before Asha took over. Mm-hmm. So, I agree. What we got, man? Anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, we smoked this topic, but I'm good.
All right.
Right.
Let everyone.
You know,
what's his name? Good grief! What's the actor's name? Matthew McConaughey. You giving me the Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, all right.
Well, Forte, won't you let everyone know where they find you?
Oh man, Game Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, DPS podcast next week. 9 p.m. Going to be a great show. Make sure you enjoy the weekend, have fun. SloMo, I just thought about it. I finally sat down and watched the Gran Turismo movie. That movie is actually really good, bro.
It is pretty good. Yeah. I saw it a couple years ago. It was all right. I liked it.
Yeah, I actually watched that, and then I went down this race car. I watched F1, the one with Brad.
Hold on. Did you see the Street Fighter trailer?
No, I heard it was great.
I got hyped watching
I'm about to look at it now.
When the show is over, watch that trailer. I want to hear your reaction.
My coworker loves Street Fighter. I'm glad you said it because I told him I would watch it when I got home and I forgot about it. He loves it. He was.
Oh my god, it was so good.
It's a picture.
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. And in like 50 Cent as Balrog, I was laughing when they cast them. I still somewhat find it humorous. I don't think that works. But everything else is dope. They got Ken being like a loser, and it seems to be a lot focused on Ken and Ryu. But they got, what's the wrestler's name Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, yeah.
He's Guile. He's got the hair. Whoever they got playing Dowsum looked dope. Like,
Yeah.
all of it looked just. It just looked awesome. Now, sure, it's a trailer. It could stink. It could be garbage. It could be a terrible movie. But
50 Cent looked crazy.
I'm there for it. I am going to I'm day one. After that, I'm day one. I'm gonna find I'm bringing my sons with me. We they don't even play Street Fighter. We just gonna be like, hey, you want to see this movie? No, not really. Okay, we're going. They're going with me. It's gonna be my excuse to get out of the house and go see this movie. Yeah, that is true, Chips. I was there's a little scene with Cammy. I was a little disappointed. It's looks a little disappointed. Was not very wasn't much canon going on there. Canon to the original. But hey, look, maybe she's a fabulous actress, and it'll work out great. I thought I was surprised it wasn't just a teaser trailer. It was like,
oh no, that's a full-blown 3-minute trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he really giving you a lot of content, and I'm here for it. I forgot they had a release there or not, but I don't care. Whenever it comes out, I'm
October 16th. I only watched half the trailer so far, and I watched half the trailer, and I already know I'm going to see this movie.
Yeah, look at what Miko said in the chat about Cammy.
Oh, dog, Cammy, let's go.
Oh man. Okay, all right, we're gonna get up out of here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't be so emotional. Some of y'all get real emotional.
Yeah,
talking about stuff. Relax.
That's crazy.
Anyway, getting up out of here. Peace.
Enjoy your weekend, guys. Peace.